working on it. I mean, they could be still working on it. Um, but yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we just got done looking at the Chainsaw Man season 1 finale. Um, here with Ronin Unchained. We've been watching the show since the first episode till now, and I can personally say this was amazing. This was an amazing first season.
Absolutely.
I cannot believe that, a show. I mean, people told me that the manga was really good and to watch out for. It's gonna be the next Attack on Titan. It's gonna be the next, Demon Slayer. But I didn't know it was gonna be like this. I didn't know that the simplest of moments can make rivets and
Yeah.
emotions come out because they did a great job of story building. They showed you who these people were beforehand when they first met, their inconsistencies, their strengths, their weaknesses, and then they left a moment like Aki just going outside to smoking a cigarette. But there's so much weight and significance behind that cigarette. How he even got the cigarette in this episode, the easy revenge, and it's just emotional. It's emotional, but yet it's beautifully simplistic. I don't know a way to kind of put it because it's not like this episode didn't have a lot of action because it did have some good action moments. But I think that the subtle moments were the strongest.
Yeah.
But yeah, what did you think about this episode?
I mean, when you pin on those moments of just simplicity, it the only other time I could feel that is when I watch Blade Runner, and it's not
Mm,
when even people are just talking, you're just looking at them or looking at the world or looking at themselves, and you're putting together the words or the thoughts in their minds.
right.
Um, the last shot of 2049. It's just a person putting their hands on a glass and just smiling, and yet I know exactly how they feel, what they're gonna
Mhm.
probably gonna say, and what's gonna happen afterwards. Um, and I felt that with this, and yeah, even someone as Kobini or Kobe, I call her, that like she was in the background from like as a whole season, but there's the arc in the level 8 arc that she's prominent, and yet she's still with us, and you see the dynamics between power and where she is now, and she's
Yep.
still just as chaotic, but she's still hanging around with these bozos. And I
Right.
think just because A, she has to, but B, I do think there is this kindred spirit, this um brotherhood, sisterhood between them, that like that end that outro, if you will, where we're
Mhm.
just seeing them a day in their life. I told you, like, I want to see an episode of just that, just to see how that is without them putting on the suits and ties and having to kill some being, if you will.
Right.
Um, yeah, this episode, I was like, part of me is like, that's it, but part of me is just like, I just wanted closure with Katana Devil,
Hmm.
the snake girl, and just like the last hurrah for Jimeno, because you know how much I care for her, and the
Yeah.
fact that her goodbye went out with a bang,
Yeah.
literally bangs, if you will, and a cool, smooth smoking sequence where it's like I didn't need to see Aki crying or yelling or whatnot. Just that I knew
Hmm.
exactly how he felt. If I was in his shoes and I had the relationship or care I would have for Jimeno, I would do almost exactly the same thing. Just be like, all right, I ate with the bozos. I just want to just chill and just be like, adios, Jimeno.
Right. Yeah, and I think, like you said, like that moment specifically, I was kind of like, oh, they're gonna show like one flashback of her in the smoke, but no, they were like, no, we're gonna give you reality here.
Yeah.
And this is the other thing about that, that episode when she died, and when Kobe's friend died, when a whole bunch of different members of this group died.
Yeah.
I was kind of, we were both like, oh, there's no way they would just sit there and just like kill all these characters. It's like, oh, they're gonna refresh, or somebody's gonna have like the power to go back into the future or go back to the past. None of that. Like, this is not Fast and the Furious, you guys. They are gone. These characters are gone, and I think that there's something about that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
the thing about anime is that it's a sense of disbelief. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, when something happens, like, supernatural things can go and bring it back and counter it. But with this show, yes, there are otherworldly supernatural things that happen, but when life is lost, or when tragedy happens, or when tragedy and trauma mix, there's no coming back from that, whether it is somebody's physical body or their mind or their emotions. One of the things I thought was very pivotal in this is the conversation with, the Katana Devil and Denji about, did he feel anything? Did he feel anything for the loss of life that he's caused or that he's gonna cause? And of course, Denji said no, but Denji in his own head space had already asked himself about Himeno and other people that lost before him. And he'd already reconciled it in himself who he's become, but he wanted to move forward.
Yeah.
And I think that if you really pay close attention to Denji from the very first episode till now, I don't think it's that he's, become this chainsaw devil that has brought his emotions to this point. I think it's just life. I think the moment that he got cut up into pieces and thrown in the garbage, him and his devil dog got thrown into the garbage. I think a part of that is traumatic for him. I think he's kind of like, man, screw it. Like, I've done everything I could. I ate crap. I did everything for everybody else. And what did it give me? You know what I mean? Like, I'm taking something for myself and I'm not caring anymore. But I think from that point, we also see him try to protect life. He's giving Aki the option, like, yeah, nah, I'm gonna kick this dude in the balls for him. I know. Like, no, he was like, no, do you want to join with me? And then he didn't do it until Aki did it, which shows compassion, understanding, remorse. He doesn't verbalize it, it's the actions. I
Yeah.
don't even think that he realizes how good of a person he really is. Because I think that honestly, if he felt like Power was in danger, I don't think he would have just left her by herself. I think
Yeah.
he's like, oh, this crazy girl, she's got
She
it.
could handle herself. Yeah.
I'm gonna go take care of this, this other guy.
Yeah.
And it may have been he wanted to go up there to get to the Katana Devil so she didn't get killed. I didn't
Right.
think about that because she can get killed. He's less likely to.
Yeah.
And so them handling him on an emotional spectrum is very fascinating. And you already mentioned Power. Like, I think that she's reconciled her place with these people, with these humans. And I think that Denji's kindness to preserve her cat went a long ways. It wasn't just him, groping her. Like, I think it was more than that for her.
Yeah. It's the layers. It's the layers of like even most obscure stuff. Like even when he says about like, but you killed Superior Himeno, you took away one less pretty person in the world. Like
Right.
that's his character, but he's genuinely like, you killed my friend, and the fact that I mean, no, that like he was gonna do it regardless, but he wanted Aki to be involved and be like, listen, you knew her way more than I did,
Right.
and I knew you two had a thing. So like,
Yeah.
you know, I know because it's she doesn't want us to do this, but screw it, we want to do this, and this is our way to reconcile and like pay
Right.
respects to her. And the fact that he was like, because there's a shot where Aki's kicking him and he's jumping like yay,
He is
yeah,
definitely
you
cheering
did it,
Aki on because yeah,
yeah,
that was the game. It was like who was gonna make him scream, and Aki was that.
like I want to. And I don't
Oh
even
man.
think Denji cared if he wanted like I think deep inside he's like I'd rather have you win and let it out than just have it to myself. And again, folks, I've been saying it, obscure circumstances, kinky, violent, whatever may have you, but with basic fundamental human feelings and emotions being showcased in this way. I'll say
Yeah.
this: this doesn't feel this is just impactful as any A24 indie film, and yet doesn't feel like every other indie A24 film. Like that's the best way I can describe it. That like bonkers and yet human as hell.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, like it was so many different amazing emotional beats.
E- even even the subway sequence when he sees the lady on the floor, and I don't know about your screen, but my screen it didn't translate because he was like yeah yeah yeah, and either he was saying wait until she gets off or telling her get out of here, run because he you could tell he didn't want her getting injured, but he had his mission with Katana Devil.
Yeah. Yeah, he definitely did.
And that
Dude,
fight with
the
the
fight, the fight, like Zack Snyder would be proud of that.
I said it felt like Man of Steel at points.
Yeah, like Zach would be proud of that. Like I wouldn't be surprised if Zach's not looking at this show right now. I'm like, yeah, this show is
Like,
amazing. I think that
yeah,
Finn Wolford was talking to Guillermo del Toro about like, hey, have you checked out Chainsaw Man? It's pretty freaking awesome. And you know, of course, he hadn't seen it yet, but he looked like, oh, maybe I should consider it. But I mean, like you said, like the animation and the gore and the man, I'm just use this as an example.
that dude.
Like this threw me off. I was
Look at
like,
that shot.
what in the heck was in the crazy thing is oh girl didn't even notice. She looked back, she's like, ah, what happened?
Yeah,
Um
yeah.
and it's just scenes like that, man. And even like how Denji beat the Katana Devil. Like we kind of were both like, you know, like, okay, what just happened here? And Denji did his thing. Like it was so freaking dope. And the thing I didn't catch about it first time because it went so fast is that he cut actually his blade too. If you can see that part in between the blade, that's crazy.
And he
That's
cut him the
crazy.
same way he cut Aki's devil, that like wolf
Yep.
thing, the same way, split down the middle and just psh, blood
Yep.
spitting out. So
Yep.
it's like poetry. The way you entered, the ways you're gonna go out.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Now, this is the one thing I was gonna ask you about.
Hmm.
And I'm gonna bring it up because there's only one character that I fear. My fear is that they don't have any actual emotions. I there's moments that I kind of like, oh man, they really care deeply. Oh man, no, they really want a piece of humanity. But every single time I really pay close attention to them, it's like they're enjoying this in the worst kind of way. And as much as I love her as a character, I'm intrigued by her as a character. I am terrified of her as a character. Down to the conversation she had with them about like, oh well, we've got pieces, and it finally started pointing in the direction of the gun devil. And they're like, where? She didn't even respond. She just smirked. And I just there's something about her that I just cannot. I don't know if it's you or not, like I am, but I cannot trust her. There's something about her I just cannot trust.
It's
Um,
very trepidatious when I start feeling trust for her or like caring for her and Denji, because I'm like, and again, who knows her side of the story, which is why we're so intrigued about it.
yeah,
But I'm like, yo, this kid loves you and is willing to do all this just to be with you, just to go on a date with you. I'm like, please don't break his heart. I'm like, please, whatever you do, what you're walking in the shadows. Like, if it's for the good, I guess, but it's the when she's not responding or when she's quiet and just held back. I'm like, how much do you know? How much are you willing just to let slide and be like, okay, there's gonna be mayhem, there's gonna be casualties. Oh well, like, and you say lack of emotion. Does she get off of it if she has any emotion to be like, oh, we get to do all this and just still keep going with the goal?
right.
Oh well, I guess Division 4 died, or part, majority of it died. Oh well, we'll just send somebody else to do the job. It's yeah, I too am intrigued and like her as a character, and yet I'm just don't. You already broke me with Himeno. Don't do it now with Denji and Hakima now. Like, don't Makima. Don't, please don't do that, because um and but here's the thing. I hope if there is a twist or it's a reveal that like she is shady and there's nothing there between Denji and Makima, that it's a dual tool play. If Denji falls at some point, I hope that his experience and livelihood and his day to day life, hanging with Aki, Power, Kobini, and anybody else he meets,
Mhm.
hopefully that picks him up being like, you know what? I lost the girl of my life, but life still goes on. I still have these people I cared for. So I'll get
Right.
up for that. I hope that's still a play, because I don't want it just to fall like that. Again, it would be very poetic and all that stuff, but like, I'm like, I feel like, and who knows how she feels about it, that like, okay, I'm making him hanging out with all these people. Is he gonna be still controllable and latch onto me, or is he gonna be his own man to the point that if I do turn on him, will he fall and stay down, or will he get back up?
Dude, I just don't I have no idea.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like she's the scariest character on the show because I don't know what she's capable of. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like, and this, I think this is why there's an immediate correlation between her and the Gun Devil. It's because the Gun Devil is not even a character we've even seen yet.
Yeah.
Ain't even seen what they look like. And it's really just, I mean, some people even kind of put him like he's a legend. Um, because we don't know what his true capability is, but he could be anywhere and do anything. That's real fear, right? But with her, it's no different. There's no different. Like, I don't know what she's doing. I don't know what she's capable of. I don't even know if she might be a devil herself. I have no clue. So it's like I don't buy that whole contract thing. Like, why is it that she's the only one that nobody gets to see who her contracts are in between? Like, there's just so much about her that I just don't know. And in this episode, like when she just showed up at the end, I thought that was fascinating. Now, okay, well, this is the last thing I guess we're going to talk about is the very last scene. We're revisited by two different things.
The
The
alley, the
door
door.
in the alley from the first episode. That I was kind of like, are they trying to say that this is all in Denji's head? That he's just happened to see the future, or is this like something else? But one thing is very clear because Puchita was talking and Puchita wasn't around him. That this is actually in his head. This is the actual dream, but I think it's a dream that's for a purpose. And Puchita said, and I quote, by no means necessary, never open this door. And it was like he didn't know what that meant. And I don't know if he's really internalized or even thought about it. But what do you get from that? And then this scene right here, if I can pull it up. I don't know if I can stop it right on. We kept on trying to stop it right before the person showed up.
Yeah.
Um, this person right here. These two scenes are such a great simplistic cliffhanger, because we don't know the implications of it. We know that Makuma is probably possibly shady and is hiding some stuff. We know that the Gun Devil's out there. He's almost impossible to kill if it is a he.
Yeah.
But with Denji and this door and this person that now looks like it's coming through the same alleyway, possibly coming through the door, um, we don't know anything about this. And the weird thing about Denji is I know Denji's got a really good heart at the end of the day. But Denji's also a very scary character of himself. Like, we haven't really seen Denji mad.
Pissed off.
We've
Yeah.
never seen him angry. We've never seen him like lose his stuff. I think the closest we came is when he was just eradicating all those zombies in the first episode, and then Makima kind of hugged him and he kind of dissolved. But
Yeah.
we haven't seen him be vindictive or be malicious or be evil because that's not who he is. What if this is a part of his subconscious? That's kind of what I was going with, but I don't know your take on the door or the chick.
I feel like that's sort of the secret that like everyone wants to know. Like, okay, how is he the way he is? And what? I remember that night that Aki asked Makima, "How much do you know about his backstory and how is he capable of doing this?" And she said, "I'll drink me and I'll tell you." And she never told anybody.
Nope.
I feel like this is the totem, like in Inception, the totem that reveals why all of this came to fruition. Besides just the betrayal of the Yakuza grandpa. And my first instinct, because they've been shady about it, or just not shady, but just like not reveal about it, is that Himeno has a sister, twin sister, we think, and it didn't show her face.
It didn't. It didn't.
And but how would she know about the country mouse and city mouse, which I think refers to him being like, you were a country kid living out by yourself, now you're in the big city wearing suits and all.
Mm-hmm.
Which do you prefer, or which is better? um one of my first gut instincts is that maybe it's his mom, because we know his dad was in debt
Yeah, and killed
and he
himself.
got killed or killed himself.
Yeah.
And I have to go rewatch the series again to see if there's any hint about his mom. Maybe that's who that person is. Um, but yeah, that's something he's very trying to subconsciously avoid as a defense mechanism, much like Moon Knight, if you will.
Yeah.
Or this is just a piece to what's to come in the future if we do get more Chainsaw Man.
Yeah.
I Yeah, that is very like even I was trying to like listen to the voice and it's Japanese. I'm just like, does that sound like someone we've heard before, or is this a new voice that we're getting? And
It sounded a lot softer. It didn't sound like Makima. It didn't sound like Himino. Um, the weird thing is, I don't know. I mean, even if it was Himino, it wouldn't make any sense unless she was referring to the country mouse and the city mouse as Aki and Denji. Like that might make more sense. But then it's kind of like that doesn't even add up.
no,
And I think when Himeno's sister came, she had her hair down. She didn't have it in a bun. But she did have long hair. So I don't know. I don't know. It's an interesting mystery. It keeps us intrigued. I don't see how this show couldn't get another season because it's a 10 out of 10 across the board. And there's
yep,
only one other show this year that I've given every single episode a 10 out of 10, and we can't even talk about that show just yet.
nope,
So
nope. I want to badly, but we can't.
yeah, I mean, all I can
Folks, you'll
say
see
is
soon.
yeah, stay tuned to BB. Yeah. on,
Exactly. There you go.
on Ronin Unchained, BB.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Any closing thoughts on this episode and the series as a whole?
Just what a gem and what a privilege to watch this show. Honestly, like and this was being made during pandemic, so I don't know even how long it took to get this done. And um I'm doing my damnedest not to go get the books and just read ahead. Like I'm gonna have to be very patient. Hopefully, shows and other movies will keep me occupied during that time. Um, but yeah, this bunch of characters, they're up there. Like there's groups of characters like in Star Wars or like the X-Men or like the characters in The Last of Us. This group of characters, I think, is gonna go up there with those groups of characters that I truly care about genuinely, and seeing what I know more about them, and just the fact that I get to experience cool fight scenes, bombastic training montages, and just these weird ideas mash up and yet connect with me in simple emotional ways that I'm like, oh, I either pity these characters or feel so much for them and hope that they can make it out at the end of the time. Because again, anime, as much as it entertains us and it makes us love it, it could also break our heart in the next
Yep.
second.
Yep.
Um,
Immediately.
and yeah, I want power. Again, some people might like initially maybe like, oh, it's gonna be irritating, it's gonna be annoying character, and it's just like, nope, she's just as fun and as engaging as the rest of the characters in her own fashion. And that's the thing I could give it, is that none of these characters feel the same.
None of them.
Kobini is nothing like Makima. Makima is nothing like Kobini, and Aki is nothing like Denji, and Denji is nothing like Aki. Yet they share um, similar, I guess, goals or work life, but from different angles. And what a way to end it this season. Like they didn't throw too much about the gun devil, and they're still holding them back. And yeah, I like that it was just more finale of just like uniting these characters way more. And okay, bringing someone who's gonna match Chainsaw Man, and yet
Mm-hmm.
sprinkling seeds that'll or breadcrumbs that'll lead to the biggest story or another arc in the hopeful second season.
Yeah, and then we don't even know what Aki's contract with this future Dao even does.
No.
We don't even know. I think what he even gave up. I can't even remember what he gave up. I don't think they even revealed it. But for me, this was a series 10 out of 10 finale. Excellent, simplistic, vibrant, energetic, beautiful, all those things. 10 out of 10 for me.
Can't wait to get the Blu-ray if they do Blu-ray.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I
Yeah, they're
want
definitely
that.
gonna do a Blu-ray, and I think if we get the Blu-ray early, you guys, we will do an unboxing. How about that?
Hell yeah.
Might even do a giveaway. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. All right, guys. Make sure you go to the description right below. Check out Ronin Unchained. He's got a lot of content coming. Some that I'm helping with. You don't want to miss. Make sure you hit the
No.
post notification. Make sure you already subscribed.
Yeah.
And we've got some very, very exciting things to come. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
Later,
Yeah.
y'all.
Falling off the top